What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City. As always, we are your host. I'm Taylor,
And I'm Ryler.
and the Raw on Netflix debut, or the Raw on Netflix era, I should say, is officially here. This is your Raw post show for January 6th, 2025. Man, what a show it was. I'm going to be honest, I had a blast watching that whole show.
I can't believe it's already it seems like just the other day it was like, oh, I mean, I was talking about this in a previous video. It just seemed like, yeah, like literally yesterday they were like, oh, WWE signs the greatest or the largest deal in history or something like that with Netflix. I don't remember
Mhm.
how many billion it was, but it was a large deal. And I remember it just being like so in the future, like one day Raw is going to be on Netflix, and it is already that time. We are already all the way through 2024, and I will say I'm trying not to be disappointed. I think there's a lot that happened during this event. There's going to be a lot to unpack during this, a lot. But at the same time, I think it set a good standard. I try not to get myself like set too high expectations. I think that's what Twitter and everybody does every single time, and they end up getting disappointed. But in terms of Raw, I mean, this is the biggest Raw we've had in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean they did everything that they could to make the first Raw on Netflix episode one of their greatest of all times, and I mean, some are already saying that that was the greatest Raw of all time. I think I'll have to let it sit with me just a
Yeah,
little bit
for sure.
longer. I just think that's a lot of recency bias going on there, but I mean,
Mhm.
it was still a great show. I mean, there's so much that we got to get into,
Mhm.
but I mean, I guess we can just start from the top. You had Triple H. He kicked off the show pretty much, welcome to a new era, blah, 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 blah. Then asked the crowd, are you ready? And then the final boss, The Rock, who wasn't even confirmed for the show until January 5th, the day before. I mean, we all expected him to show up at the show because I mean, why wouldn't he? But until the day before when he puts it some video, but yeah, he showed up. He just pretty much hyped up the crowd for being Raw on Netflix debut. Not much. And I will say the thing that stuck out to me the most was that and now he's out there hugging Cody Rhodes and taking shots with him backstage. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the Rock live on camera DUI. I mean, he drank and then he hopped into his car, pulled off. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing when he was driving away. He stopped abruptly. He started going back. I mean, yeah, I mean, but it was crazy. I knew that's what I was saying before that. I was worried that there wasn't going to be much that was going to happen with his involvement. It was kind of just going to be a whole lot of nothing.
Mhm.
And he was featured a lot on the show, but I think they did set some seeds for it because we do know now that it's not confirmed, but we do know basically it's going to end up being Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania 41. We're
Yeah.
finally going to get that match, and I'm okay with that, honestly. Um, but yeah, he was all over the show, or at least the first half of it.
Yeah, yeah, he was. Yeah, he had the opening promo, and that wasn't the last time we saw The Rock on the screen. And then right after that, we got into our first match of the night. It was Tribal Combat Rules. You had Solo Sikoa against Roman Reigns. Winner would become the I mean, it really did. And the winner was, without a doubt, the OTC Roman Reigns. It was a great match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it was a good match for what it was. I mean, it was basically just an Extreme Rules match. But first, I mean, the biggest thing, or at least that I noticed, was that it was Roman Reigns being busted open. I think it was from this. It was probably from that monitor. He like solo
Yeah.
ended up nailing him in the head with it, and that's what we don't see. Many like head or shots to the head. Um, I mean, we saw it during Bad Blood, I guess, with Drew and Punk, but they kind of make that a lot less frequent now. So I thought it was cool seeing that. That's probably what busted him open. But it was a good match, especially for Raw. We did get to see commercials during it, though. The more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Yeah.
It goes to the outside. It's still, when it gets to that certain point, they're taunting one of them, has a upper hand, and then Michael Cole.
Mhm.
Oh, he's in the lead. Will he get it? We'll be back on Raw. And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. They got
Yeah.
us.
I guess
Apparently,
that's
UK didn't have ads, though.
yeah, the UK. I mean, if you're living in the UK, if you're living in Canada, anywhere internationally, you didn't get commercials during the shows or during the matches, at least. But I mean, I'm okay with that because I mean, we if we don't get commercials, then all we're really going to see is a couple headlocks, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. But I mean, it didn't bother me at all that we got commercials. So
Yeah. So it was an okay match. Like you said, Roman Reigns ended up winning. Now, that makes me wonder what's next for Solo. I think that, and we can tackle that, so we can maybe make that when we're talking about predictions or something for the Rumble. I guess that's the next PLE, maybe Saturday night's main event. But
yeah.
yeah, it makes me wonder what he's doing because he's lost yet again another big feud. I mean, they lead him up, and then whenever it comes to the main, that's his time to actually live up to what he's been saying, and he loses.
Yeah, I mean that's been the story of his whole career at this point. I mean, he had that feud
Yeah.
with Cody Rhodes. He lost that, and now he's lost his Fala that he claimed was his. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him. My guess, I guess my prediction for what happens with him next is that I wouldn't. So this was months ago. I mean, this is like right after like Tama Tonga had just came on the scene, and Jacob Fatu had just came on the scene, and he said in a backstage segment with Tama Tonga that if he were to lose to Roman Reigns, that he would acknowledge him. And if I had to guess, I don't
Um,
think the new bloodline will take that. I do expect a turn from the new bloodline on Solo Sikoa, and maybe we'll get Jacob Fatu instead of saying "I love you Solo," it's going to turn into "I hate you Solo." So
I don't know about that already, but I guess they've been together for like 6 months or so at this point. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, either way, though, I think he lost his match. He didn't really have the spotlight on him, and The Rock came out once again. He was staring Roman Reigns down, and then he put it on him. Like he showed him that he was. I thought it was going to be like a rock bottom or something, but
yeah,
he
yeah.
ended
Me and
up
you both
putting
did.
the what's it, the Ula Fala? Is that how you say it? He
Yeah,
ended
yeah,
up putting
yeah.
that around his neck, showing him respect as a tribal chief, and it's obviously showing the animosity between them. But Rock, he was just a happy-go-lucky dude, I guess. Today, he just seemed very nice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's out there giving Rhodes a hug, and then now next thing you know, whenever he held his hand up to do that little handshake with Roman Reigns, I really
Uh-huh.
thought he was going to grab his hand, throw it over his shoulder, and then rock bottom. But we didn't get that.
No.
So I I mean, you called it because I remember I said, I think it was like Sunday afternoon. I said, "Oh, The Rock's gonna show up," and then you said, "Nothing's gonna happen yet," and I mean, you were right. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe this is a seed being planted for that, soon to be WrestleMania match that, like you
Uh-huh.
said. But I guess we're gonna have to wait. maybe until after the Royal Rumble or something, until we, get that, Rock turning on Roman, whatever it could be, to actually start that feud up. So I don't
Yeah, it's
know.
gonna be a little bit longer. I'm okay with that though.
Yeah, I am too. After that, you had what was next? Let me pull up my
Wasn't it
notes
John
here.
Cena?
Oh, that is right, John Cena. How could I forget? The greatest of all time is back. His farewell tour has finally kicked off, and it was a great promo. It's what you expect from the greatest of all time, John Cena. Great promos, and he said that he doesn't see a world title in this farewell tour. And right then and there, we all said, "That's cap. Come
Yeah,
on,
it,
John.
that's
Come
when you
on,
know he's
John.
gonna end
Really,
up winning
dude?"
again.
And
Like, you
then,
really gonna sit here and lie to us right now?
yeah, and then he brings up his losing streak of, what do you say, like 2,000 and like 400 something days.
Yeah.
His
Mhm.
last one-on-one win was against Triple H in 2018 at one of them Saudi Arabia shows.
Super Showdown. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was one of them Saudi shows. But yeah, that was his last win, and he says that he just can't come in and throw himself in the main event scene or throw himself in a world title scene. And I'm like, oh, I mean, you did it in the past, so why can't you just do it now? You know, I mean that's what your most of your career was made off of, is still in the main event scene from all those other younger guys. But it's a different time now. So, but
So it was, yeah, typical Cena promo. I mean, building off what you're saying, he was cutting that, and then he officially announced himself in the Royal Rumble. And one of my predictions for 2025 in the previous video, I predicted that I think John Cena is going to win the Royal Rumble. And I heard that, and I was like, ooh, cooking,
yeah,
cooking. I could possibly get one of them out early. I think the
yeah,
interesting thing to note, though, during this segment, because I was kind of distracted because I was watching this, and then I realized that WWE was live on Instagram, and they decided to do that Rock segment that I mentioned earlier, where he was backstage, he was taking shots with Cody Rhodes, and then he got in his car, he announced that he was going to be on NXT on Tuesday night, so tomorrow, and this was during the John Cena segment. I thought that was an interesting choice.
yeah,
Um, I was like, wow, Rock, why are you not paying attention to Cena's segment? So that kind of, I didn't really honestly pay attention to the first half of the segment, but it seemed like it was typical Cena stuff. It seemed like it was pretty good. And he
yeah,
announced that he's not just going to be in the Rumble, but he is going to win the Rumble.
yeah. Because he said that he said never say never when it comes to winning the 17th world title, and he said, I mean, he could, the possibilities are slim. He said he could win the Money in the Bank, got a pop from that. He said that maybe he could win the Elimination Chamber. He got a pop from that. And then he said, wait a minute. What if I enter myself in the Royal Rumble and the fucking roof almost blew off the Intuit Dome? And then he said, I got an idea. I'm entering the Royal Rumble. And there you have it. John Cena has officially declared himself the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble. And Ryler, I'm going with you. That is my prediction. My early prediction for the Men's Royal Rumble is John Cena, the greatest of all time. Let's go.
The GOAT. Yeah, I think so. That's a pretty solid prediction, but keep in mind, as I was saying earlier, I am the Wrestling City champion, okay? I don't have the physical belt with me just yet, but you're going to have to play defensive, okay? So you predicting Cena as well. I don't know. There's always a chance for you to still predict Jimmy Uso or, somebody like that. You got to make the bold prediction. Go out there. Come on. It's not too late.
Nah, I can't. I can't do that. I can't do that to my goat, John Cena. So
So, yeah, it's a first confirmed person for the Rumble.
yeah. I mean, after that, we had John Cena, and then I think we had Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre was
No,
next.
no, no, no. After that, it was Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, wasn't it?
Yeah, you are right. My man, my
It all just merged together.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really did. I mean, I guess it's kind of easy for me to forget that Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley match because I mean
I'm
it
hoping it's
wasn't.
the end, bro. I think that
Yes. Oh
I
my
think it's a
gosh.
very classic example of just a few months ago. People were so excited to see or Rhea Ripley make her return. They were so hyped when they heard her return, and then it happened. Like I saw a compilation on Twitter that was like literally every single time Rhea Ripley was talking, "This is my brutality." Every single time on Raw. It was like every single week. She'd be talking, Rhea Ripley would come out, like beat her up for a second, and then it would be the same formula every single week. And I think
Yeah.
they really made people sour. I mean, well, the rivalry's been going on for what, like 4 or 5 months. And I think
Hell,
Bad Blood
longer
with the
than that,
DQ.
honestly.
Well,
I mean, that the
yeah.
feud's
I
been going
mean,
on for
it
like almost
really,
a year now. I mean, like
yeah.
it
Well,
was.
I mean, when with Dominic turning on Liv,
Yeah.
or not Liv on Rhea, uh,
Mhm.
I think that this is. I see them maybe doing the PL or doing it for another PLE or two. Unfortunately, but yeah, Rhea Ripley wins the title. Yeah, tell me about it. Rhea Ripley wins the title. I thought it was a weird ending because Judgment Day they were just sitting there like watching as she got pinned. I thought that
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
little
Dom,
funny.
Dom and Raquel. Yeah.
Like you could just get her DQ'd. You have champion's advantage. She would have retained.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, she took 2 riptides, and then after the match, Rhea Ripley got to hit Dominic with the riptide. And I wonder what's going to be next for Liv Morgan because, like you said, they need to wrap this up. I'm done with seeing this match. I think
Yeah.
everybody is, or at least most people.
Yeah. I don't know what could be next for. I mean, my guess is I don't fucking know. I mean, the women's Intercontinental Championship. Hell, move her to SmackDown at this point.
I'd be okay with seeing her in the IC title picture. I totally forgot there's going to be another title. So yeah, I mean that sounds good. I just
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley needs to move on. Like you said, Io Sky, isn't that what you were predicting for WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think that would be much better than what we're seeing right now. I
Yeah,
hope
for
this is a
sure.
good ending for it. Wasn't I mean, it was what it was.
Yeah, because I mean, at first, like 2 weeks ago or about a week ago, they were advertising this women's championship match tonight as a last woman's standing match, and then I saw
Mhm.
people say that they changed it to just a normal match because they're going to add that stipulation of their match at like Saturday night's main event or the Royal Rumble. But I just I, I just hope that the what we saw tonight was the end of that feud. I
Yeah.
do not want to see that match one more time. I don't care if it has a stipulation added to it or not. I just don't care to see Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley in the same ring again.
Yeah.
Let's end this, please. Please, let's end
I
this.
feel that.
Jesus. I mean, hell, this feud's been going on since like it pretty much started at the Raw after Mania last year when Liv, hurt Rhea and then had to send her off and for surgery and whatnot. So
Mhm.
it's time to end this shit. Oh my gosh.
I hope so. Okay, so it was that match, and then
Hold
what
on.
was
Now,
after?
before we move on, what happened after all of that? The Undertaker
Oh
in one of
wow,
the
man,
that
that
was
was
the most pointless.
like I forgot about that, man. He really came out, and we were watching this live, and we were like, "Whoa!" Like, and then he just comes out, rides his bike around the ring. I don't know what the song was. I couldn't hear it very clearly. You
Yeah,
said it
it
was
was like
Metallica. I thought it was maybe Avenged Sevenfold. It was for sure Metallica.
I know the background music was Metallica. I think what song is it? It was it was
It was some sort of dad
Enter.
rock.
It was like
I,
Enter Sandman with like the background, but the vocals sounded like Limp Biscuit or something. I don't know what it was.
it wasn't his American Badass thing, and
No.
he came out right, and he just rode the chopper around the ring, and then just drove back. Like
Yeah.
literally, that was it.
Yeah, he
I
drove
was just
around
like,
the
okay,
drove around the
that's
ring and then drove back up the entranceway, and then he did his signature back shot pose with Rhea Ripley, and then they kind of like looked back at the camera and like that was it. I'm just sitting there like
yeah, like
I'm happy
okay,
to see the Undertaker, but you put
yeah.
him with this,
I totally forgot about that, man. That's crazy.
yeah. I mean, it was all right. I was glad to see the Undertaker, but
Yeah,
I I wish they would have done a little bit more with him instead of oh well.
it
So
was a lot as much as they could cram into the show. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, true. After that is when we finally got to Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. I believe
Mhm.
yes, that is correct. And Jey Uso made his entrance alongside Travis Scott. They came back to the show and then they played that hit song "Fiend," which was one of my favorite songs. Not gonna lie, "Fiend, Fiend, 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 Fiend,
He was
Fiend,
smoking a blunt
Fiend,
while performing
Fiend."
it. And him and Jey Uso, they came out in like on the, his typical in the crowd type entrance. And it was pretty cool. But I will say it's so funny with them with their concerts. Like they said
Yeah.
they sing for like 20 seconds or something, and then Jey Uso comes
Well,
out.
he wasn't even singing. It was just the audio playing through the arena.
You know what's funny that I totally forgot about too? Didn't Jey Uso or didn't Lil Uzi come out during the Usos entrance at 39?
Yeah, he did, and he
So
played that.
Uzi before Jey Uso, Lil Wayne before Jey Uso, and then Travis Scott before Jey Uso. I thought that's a little funny.
Yeah,
I think this one was better than the Lil Wayne one though, which isn't saying much. Um,
yeah, that little Wayne concert that we had. I wouldn't even call it a
concert.
concert.
He
Yeah,
rapped like maybe like 4 or 5 bars off of Millie. It was less than 30 seconds, and then that was it. And
yeah,
so, yeah, their concerts are a little funny. But yeah, he got the nod from him. It was an okay match, but the surprising thing was that Jey Uso got the pin. It was just
yeah.
by roll up, but I don't know if I guess. I mean, I guess it didn't really hurt Drew. Maybe I don't. I don't know, man. I
I
think
don't. I
maybe Drew
mean,
should have won.
you would have thought that Drew McIntyre's on this bloodline. He's got this
Yeah,
bloodline hit list going on. He's already checked Sami Zayn off that list, and we all thought it was going to be Jey Uso tonight, but no, Jey Uso ended up picking the win, and that really surprised me.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it was just a roll up, so at least it's not seriously hurting his momentum. But I really feel like they could have done that differently. I'm trying
yeah,
not to be that one complaining fan that's like, like, oh, he's buried, because it's definitely not that. He can definitely this is gonna be forgotten about in a few weeks from now. But yeah, man, I was really we were all expecting Drew to win, and when he did
hmm
the roll up, we were like, what now? Jay
yeah,
getting the win? I mean, Jay's, that's cool for him, I guess. But
hmm
yeah, hopefully this doesn't hurt Drew's momentum very much. It was just an off week. He lost by pinfall, so they need to have a rematch.
roll up.
Drew
So
McIntyre
let's
needs to
not.
decisively pick up the win, and then he
Mhm.
can move on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think the way that Drew McIntyre lost, I don't think it's going to hurt him one bit because he
Yeah,
didn't lose like cleanly. He lost to a roll up. He was going for the Claymore kick. Well, he was going to go for the Claymore kick, and then Jey Uso just like collapsed right in front of him.
yeah,
So then Drew McIntyre decides to walk to another corner, and he's setting Jey Uso up. Goes for the Claymore kick one more time, but then Jay like lays down just in time, ducks under, and then rolls him up for the 1, 2, 3. So, I mean, I guess we'll get this. Maybe Drew can get his lick back at
yeah,
Saturday night's main event. That I think that's my only option here. If he's going to go through this bloodline hit list, he's got to get a win over Jey Uso. So, if I had to guess, it will be at Saturday night's main event, and then he'll move
yeah.
on to, you know, Jimmy Uso, and then Roman Reigns at some point. So Who knows?
I think that's how it's going to happen. As long as he gets that solid, like his win back, I think that will be okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. After that, we had
Let's talk about it, bro. It's time. It's time. This is the thing I've been wanting to talk about.
Hulk Hogan co-main eventing a WWE show in the glorious year of 2025. What the hell are we doing here?
No,
Hulk
listen,
Hogan?
listen. He comes out, and I don't know how. I don't know if when they were booking this, surely they knew this was going to happen. Like, there's no way you thought
They
you were
were
going to
they were
book
in Los
Hulk
Angeles.
Hogan in LA on January 6th and not have this reaction.
Yeah.
He
And
comes
well,
out, he gets booed to oblivion. They are just not taking his stuff. They are like, get out of here, old man. Good riddance. And I wholeheartedly agree. And it
yeah.
didn't make it any better that he literally, this was just a walking promo. I mean, I guess that's what Hulk Hogan is, right? But there was nothing to this segment. He was just like basically using other, dead, respected past wrestlers for like cheap pop. He was like, "Oh, my old tag team partner Andre the Giant, and then Macho Man Randy Savage," and they're like, "Boo!"
Yeah.
And then he links that to his beer sponsorship. And that's what this entire segment was about. He rips off his shirt that says, like, what did it say again? Like, Netflix is raw.
Yeah.
Crowd
Something
ain't
like
having any of it.
no. And the funniest thing to me is he's talking. It was kind of hard to like pay attention to what he was saying because I was laughing my ass off the whole time from the crowd just booing the hell out of him, like booing him out of the arena. He said something like he said something along the lines like, my real friends are all the Hulkamaniacs here in the arena, brother. And when he said that, the crowd just goes, boo, boo. Like, dude, just shut up. Get out of here.
Yeah, dude. I thought they were at least gonna like, yeah, my prediction going into this, or at least when we first heard that Hogan was gonna be there, was that like Gunther was gonna come out and like at least not do anything crazy, but they were gonna have some sort of stare down like Goldberg and Gunther did that, a few months ago. But
Yeah.
no, it was just what it was, a promo for his beer. And good riddance. Get out of here. We do not need you, Hogan.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Netflix producers, executive people, they hear this and they are like, "Ooh, yeah,
Hopefully Triple H heard that and say, all right, yeah, you're not gonna come back here. I mean,
yeah,
I get I get why they brought him back. I mean, he is Hulk Hogan. He's an icon, but he's not needed now. I mean, he doesn't really bring anything to the table anymore.
yeah." No,
He's washed
it
up.
was a funny
He,
segment though, man. I'm gonna watch that clip back in a few days and be like,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
"Okay,
That
yeah,
was by far one of the best moments of the night, without a doubt. Just
yeah."
that
That was
whole
pretty funny.
yeah. Well, that only leads to one more thing that happened on this show, and it was
Mhm,
the match decades in the making. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, and this match lived up to the hype. What a
mhm.
match it was, man! The crowd was into it, and the you could just tell like how much these two hated each other with the shots they were taking at each other. The man, what a match!
Yeah, they booked it pretty good. They were taking, like you said, they were trading some stiff shots. They hit
Hmm.
each other's finishers multiple times.
Yeah.
Rollins hit the Kurt or the GTS, I think like 2 times or maybe three.
Hmm. Yeah, two
Punk hit
times.
the curb stomp, I know at least twice, and it was a good back and forth match. I don't know how long it was exactly, but it didn't. It went just a little past 10 or the 10 o'clock ending time.
Hmm.
Nice thing about it being on Netflix, it can go a little bit longer if needed. If it was on USA Network, they would have had to end that a lot earlier. So I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cool. I think so. At the end, Punk hits one GTS, and then Rollins, he goes back on the ropes, and then his selling of those GTSs at the end, they looked pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, they
instead of
did.
him, I like when they sell certain moves that instead of when he hit the GTS, instead of him just falling back on it, taking just a back bump, he his legs, it's like he went unconscious when he got hit with the knee, so his legs just give out, and he did a forward bump instead, if that makes any sense. He
Yeah,
just
he kind of
he
kind of
got
like
knocked unconscious.
yeah, it's like he got hit with the GTS, and then it's like the impact of the GTS just drove him into the ropes kinda, and
Uh-huh.
it kinda he bounced off the ropes and then collapsed right on top of CM Punk's shoulders. And I will admit, I mean, it did take CM Punk just a little bit
Mhm.
more to get CM Punk, Seth Rollins up for that second one, but he was able to get him up for the second GTS, and CM Punk got the #1 victory royale. He pinned him
Yeah.
right on the Fortnite
All of it
logo.
on the Fortnite logo in the middle of the ring. He was selling
Yeah.
his knee the entire match too. I
Mhm.
get so nervous watching Punk in matches now. I'm just
Yes, dude.
like that one Trick Williams thing. It was like, don't hurt yourself, big dog, you know?
Yeah.
So I just, yeah, I don't think he actually hurt himself. I think it was just, selling or whatnot. Good
Yeah.
on his part. That needs to be something that's incorporated. Um, yeah, but I think it was a good match. But nothing happened after. It was just Punk just got the win, and we were watching it after. It went to the post match thing on exclusively on YouTube, and
Yeah.
we were watching it they've been doing that stuff recently where it goes off air, and when Kevin attacked Cody. And we were like, oh, yeah, Rollins is good because he was leaving and they were keeping the camera on him. So we were like, ooh, Rollins is going to run back into the ring and attack Punk. But no, Punk got the win. Rollins left. It was good for what it was, though.
Yeah, yeah, it
Solid
was.
main event.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that match ended up main eventing over the tribal combat match. I mean, that both matches were great. And
Hmm.
I feel like, I mean, either one could have been in the main event, and I would have been fine with it. But I think they made the right choice making this the main event. And yeah, I mean, I mean, all the matches tonight were, I mean, they weren't bad. I would say the only stinker we had was the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley match, but
Yeah.
that's about it. So,
I
but yeah, I
think,
mean,
and we already have for next week, we already have some pretty good matches confirmed with the IC title or women's IC title match.
mhm.
And then we also have Finn Balor versus Damian Priest in a street fight. And I am excited to see that match, man. I
Yes,
think
yes, yeah,
I've been saying this. They
yeah.
can
You
have
actually said that. Hmm.
Listen, people are. I know you were sick of it at least, but I think they could stretch it out longer. I think this is not the same as the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley feud because they're well, I'm not saying that Rhea Ripley and Liv aren't great stars on their own, but Finn Balor and Damian Priest, I just think they're both so great, and they can I don't know. I've just loved Damian Priest. Really, he's become one of
Yeah,
my favorite stars. We didn't end up doing the Slammy video, but he would have been my breakout superstar of the year. So I think that he's done really good, and they can have just a little bit longer. So I'm hoping this street fight is going to have a proper, the time it needs. And I'm
mhm.
hoping that I want Damian Priest to pick up the win, but Finn Balor does need it. But we have some stuff going into next week's already.
Yeah, we got that match. I think we also have Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser.
Mhm.
We got another Sheamus banger coming. But who's your prediction for the finals of the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria?
I think it's going to be Valkyria. I was very surprised when she
Smart
won
man,
against
smart
Io
man.
Sky. You said
Yeah,
what?
I said smart man, smart man.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think so. I think so. Yeah, I expected Io to win the other week, and so when Valkyria won, I was like, "Wow, yeah, I'm a believer at this point."
yeah. I mean, I was kind of shocked too that Lyra Valkyria did beat Io Sky, but I mean, I wasn't mad at all. I'm a fan of Lyra Valkyria. I've loved her work for quite some time now, even in NXT. But yeah, that's my prediction as well. I think she'd make a great first ever women's
Mhm.
Intercontinental Champion. And I don't know, is Dakota Kai, is she a heel or a face? Because
I have
you know,
no clue.
if she, I mean, if she's a heel, then we would have her
So many
as
heel champions.
yeah. I mean, we've got Tiffany Stratton, who's the new women's world champion. She's a heel. People are saying that she's a tweener now, but I don't know about that. And then you've got
Yeah.
Chelsea Green. She's a heel. She's the women's United States champion. So I'm gonna give it to Lyra Valkyria here.
Yeah. I'm excited though. We got already
Ooh,
another
here's
card building up for that next week.
I wouldn't be surprised. Now, a lot of people saying we're saying that Becky Lynch could return here tonight, but she didn't.
Uh-huh.
What if she returned next week after Lyra Valkyria wins the Women's Intercontinental Championship match?
I'm thinking it's more likely that Liv Morgan comes out and they have their match building up to it. But I could see that maybe Rhea Ripley versus I say Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, but didn't they face like literally this past year? Or maybe it was the year before?
Yeah, they were actually at WrestleMania 40. So, yeah,
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, okay. So I don't know about all that. I guess we'll see.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, yeah, what a great episode of Monday Night Raw! What a way to kick off the Raw on Netflix
Mhm.
era. And man, that show flew by. But
Yes, it
we got
did.
to get out of here. It's late. I got work in the morning. And let us know in the comments down below what you guys thought of the first episode of Raw on Netflix. And make sure to hit that subscribe button. Come join the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City, for all of your wrestling content, for Raw reviews just like this one, SmackDown reviews. We I'm going to make it a goal of mine to have a Raw and SmackDown review for every episode. I know we say that we do them now after every episode, but we don't, and that's on me. I promise that I will get better at that this year. That is one of my goals for 2025. And yeah, just come from the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City. If you hit the subscribe button, you will make this the greatest city in the world. Let's make 2025 one of the greatest years ever. Until then, we'll see you guys next time in the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City. Peace.